Hello lords and ladies, my name is Archaic King and welcome to Cartoon Hangout, your place for all things cartoon. I finally managed to watch the first episode of Miraculous Ladybug after a few days of freaking out over not finding the English dub. If you recall, I did a first look video on the show a couple months ago, so I'm very excited to get a chance to review it. So Miraculous Ladybug is a superhero show about Marinette, otherwise known as Ladybug. From what we learn in the first episode, the Bubbler, she used something she refers to as a Miraculous to transform into her superhero persona. This object takes the form of a pair of earrings for her and a ring for Cat Noir, aka her school crush Adrian. In this episode, we don't really get any sort of origin for how Marinette became Ladybug, which is something cartoons do from time to time, which sort of bugs me, pun intended. While we don't know how she or Adrian became who they are now, we do learn some things just by observing. For example, apparently Ladybug's Miraculous has a timer, and if she uses Lucky Charm, a weird ability that seems to give Marinette some random object to help her in different situations, she has an even shorter time before she reverts back to her civilian identity. It's an interesting twist on the show and one that will make the action and drama of the show more fun. We're also introduced to how the show will come up with new villains each week for Ladybug to fight, namely Hawkmoth evilizing people into a coma using butterflies.
Fly away, my little Akuma, and evilize him.
I don't know if evilizing is a direct translation or what, but it does sound a little bit lame. Surely the writers could have thought up something better sounding. It doesn't really matter, but it's just something that made me roll my eyes during the episode. Oh, am I the only one who has already figured out who Hawkmoth is? He's obviously Adrian's father. I mean, both characters are voiced by the same person. While that doesn't always mean the characters are the same, in this case I think it's painfully obvious. So as I mentioned earlier, Hawkmoth turns people into Akuma to do his bidding. In this episode, it's Adrian's best friend Nino, who I swear is trying too hard to act like he's hip.
No more adults means total freedom! This is so sweet! Off the hook!
Although that could very well just be his personality. Some people act like they're from a different time, I guess. It is a better explanation than the writers actually believing kids talk like that, but then what do I know about kids today? I did say the word hip. And while a supervillain whose powers involves bubbles isn't necessarily the coolest villain, in retrospect, it's a good first villain for the show. I mean, hey, Spider-Man's first villain was a dude named Chameleon. Not the coolest sounding name. And finally, let's talk a little bit about Marinette, who is probably one of the most adorable cartoon characters, next to Mabel from Gravity Falls.
Hi, I'm in Adrian's class and did I already say that?
I'd say she steals the show, but she's the main protagonist, so yeah. Throughout the episode, she tries to deliver a birthday present to Adrian, and even when she does, his father takes credit for it. Tough luck, girl. So that's the first episode of Miraculous Ladybug. Although not exactly like I was expecting, it's still a pretty fantastic show thus far. The CGI is great for a cartoon show, and most of the voice actors were great choices, with maybe the exception of Nino's. I think if you're not really feeling Marvel's selection of superhero cartoons, or DC's lack of any besides Teen Titans Go, then I'd heavily recommend you give this series a shot. I hear there's already a second and third season planned, so while the show has just premiered here in the West, it's obviously been something of a success internationally. Let me know what you thought of this episode. What was your favorite part? I think mine would have to be this.
You can do it, you can do it! I can do it, I can do it! I can do it, I can do it!
Thanks for watching. Take care.